Hi, everyone. Good morning and welcome on this Thursday morning to the first webinar of the new year. I'm really excited that we get to kick the year off talking about the 2023 travel guide. Joining me this morning is your travel guide team, Kathy Prickett from Visit NC, Jess Hoffert, Stacy Rossiter, Kylie Krismanek, and Katie Hildman from the Dotdash Meredith team. It is this team of experts that work behind the scenes each year to deliver the North Carolina Travel Guide. And without further ado, I'll kick it over to this team to talk about all things travel guide.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Hildman. I am the National Travel Director at Dotdash Meredith. We are thrilled to be with you this morning. We thank North Carolina always for their partnership. Well, we love working on this guide every year. I think we're kicking off our 8th year, so it's near and dear to our hearts, and we feel this year was a great, or the 2023 guide that just launched was one of our best. So we'll kind of give you some highlights today of the 23 guide, kind of kick off the 24 guide, and then also kind of go into some trends that we're kind of seeing in the travel space. So in terms of the 2023 guide, that should be all delivered. We produced 450,000 copies, and they were distributed, to welcome centers, to the warehouse, and also polybagged with Better Homes and Gardens, which is a premium Dotdash Meredith brand. We hyperlocated those based on North Carolina's choices to Pennsylvania, or to areas of Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. So just a little bit about it, though. It's a 100-page or 100-pound cover. So nice thick cover paper, trim size, your standard 7.5 by 10 or 7 7/8 by 10.5. The size does not change from the year before. It's 108 pages with then that gatefold, which includes the map. And that includes 78 edit pages and 36 ad pages. So plenty of edits. It feels very edit heavy, very rich in content, and then always very supported by the industry, which we appreciate every year with the ad sales. I'll now kick it over to Jess, who's the main editor on the project, and he will go through more of the things you guys actually care about.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jess Hoffert, and I get to work on the creative side of this project, and I've been working on it since 2016. Always a joy to feature North Carolina in this way. So I'm going to go over the process calendar. As you can see here, it's really kind of a year-long project. We actually kick off in February with the roadshow and partner presentations, and I know many of you have been a part of that in the past, and I know Dana will talk a little bit about how you can get involved this year. And then in March, we have our kickoff call with the Visit NC team, and we share our initial outline review with them, our whole list of places that we want to cover. So as you can see, the roadshow is really helpful in February. That helps inform the outline when we put that together in March. And if you can't make the roadshow, Stacy and I will also be at the Visit NC conference and are happy to hear your pitches for what's new and exciting in your part of the state before we do that kickoff call. That also really is helpful in informing the travel guide for the following year. Then in April, this is all internal stuff. We put story plans together. We send out writing assignments to everybody. And then summer is really kind of the big time assembly of the guide when we do all of the photography, we do the layout design, and then we start sending stories to the Visit NC team for their layout reviews. And then we also make sure all of our information is very thoroughly fact-checked. We have a whole team that does the fact-checking, and I'm guessing that many of you on this call have heard from our fact-checkers in the past. We're really proud of that aspect of the guide, making sure everything's accurate. Obviously, a lot of publications do not do that, so that's kind of a feather in our cap, and it's really important to us that we make sure everything is accurate before we go to press. Then in the fall, we send the full PDF of stories to the Visit NC team and have our big book makeup in October when the team usually comes to Des Moines, where we're based. And we have the whole guide pinned up on the wall. It's kind of old-fashioned to have it all pinned up, but it's great to have the physical pages up on the wall so we can move things around and see the whole puzzle together. It's really my favorite part of the guide, is seeing it all pinned up on the wall for the first time. Then we ship in November and we deliver in December. And then next slide. Here is just a breakdown of the content we have in the 2023 guide. So it's really broken down into two main sections, our FOB, or front of book, which is kind of a sampler platter of North Carolina, kind of quick little 1 or 2 page stories that give a little taste of what's in the state. And then our well section, which is kind of the main course, where we can kind of dig in a little deeper into some content with bigger stories, larger images, more immersive storytelling. So in our front of book this year, we have everything from our Inspired Journeys piece, which talks about music and arts and crafts trails across the state, to a wellness story, talking about famous North Carolinians in larger than life, retro hotels, NASCAR racing and other sports in competitive edge. We talk about scenic places to enjoy a glass of North Carolina wine or some beer. And then Native Roots talks about Native American heritage in the state. Destination Downtown highlights some smaller towns with vibrant main streets. And the one and only is kind of unique roadside attractions. Golf Stars, obviously golf courses, and Winter Wonderlands is an Instagram-based spread on some maybe hidden gems to enjoy during the winter months. So as you can see, a wide variety of content in that front of book. And then in our well section, we celebrated the Year of the Trail this year with a big feature. We highlighted 5 big cities in North Carolina and 3 different ways to enjoy them. Islands on the coast. All Roads Lead to Yum was our illustrated feature on different iconic North Carolina foods to enjoy. High altitude covered mountain lodgings and attractions, 30 free ways to fun, pretty self-explanatory, free attractions across the state. Love from NC was places to purchase a souvenir, either on the road or from home. And National Treasures highlighted the national parks and memorials across the state. And then we ended on a cute note with our cute encounter story, 4 different places to have fun animal encounters in North Carolina. Then as an added layer to all of this, we have a variety of different callouts that we include in some of the stories. This past year, we highlighted the First That Last Film Festival. That was a big marketing effort for North Carolina, and we wanted to celebrate that in the guide. We highlighted the Outdoor NC principles to promote sustainable travel. We had our Paw of Approval callouts for dog-friendly attractions, accessible fun for all, highlighting not only wheelchair accessibility, but also people with certain sensory needs and places where they could enjoy an experience. And Dream Big in Small Town NC, which is another new Visit NC effort, highlighting, in this case, small town lodgings where people could book a stay. And then on the visual front, so every year we put together a photography plan. And this year we went to more than a dozen locations with fresh photography, capturing fresh photography of the state. Those locations included Ocracoke Island, as you see here on this spread. That's all new photography that we shot this past summer. And we also do some in-studio photography. You can see above that, our Love from North Carolina spread was shot in our photo studios in Des Moines. And we had products shipped in for that. Many of them were actually pitched to us during those partner presentations. So again, it's really important. We really take those seriously. So that was a fun piece to get to do in studio. And then as far as total inclusions, this year was a record for us. 394 attractions, restaurants, shops, lodgings. That was all just in the editorial paging this year. And we make sure, this is big for us too, that all 100 counties are represented. So we're spreading the love across the travel guide. 175 featured cities and towns, and over 180 photos and illustrations. And handing it off to Stacy now to talk about our content extensions and ad sales as well.
Hi, I'm Stacy, and I handle the advertising sales. I'm sure you've seen my email. I like to nudge people a lot. So for content extensions, this is really exciting. We have, we offer full rights to all the images, 86 images for 2023. And then we also recraft and repurpose the content into blogs for visitnorthcarolina.com. So we try to take all the content that we create through the year and repurpose it for Visit North Carolina. And it's something that, we're very proud of, is specifically on the images as well, because that a lot of times, like, you can't touch them. So that's a huge opportunity that we have for Visit North Carolina and its partners. Next slide, please. Now getting into the business side of the travel guide. First and foremost, everyone on the phone that supported the guide this past year or the past 8 years, we truly appreciate it. We know that budgets can be limited, and we're very, very appreciate your support. Exciting news: the rates are gonna remain flat for 2023, 2024. For 2024. Even with printing costs, I don't know if you guys know this, have gone up substantially the last few years because of a paper strike. And but we want to maintain that make sure that we hold the rates for 2024. We have opportunities that start at $500. That's for partner listings. We also have opportunities at $1,500 in places to stay and places to explore, which are designed, for all, if you want, where you want to stay or where you want to go. And any display partner receives added value of a link of the link of their video on the digital edition of the Visit North Carolina Travel Guide, which was new last year. And the digital edition of the travel guide lives on Visit North Carolina's website. So that's an opportunity that we encourage people to take advantage of. And all you have to do is send us a YouTube link. Next slide, please. As Jess spoke about, we're going to kick off the sales at the Visit NC conference in Asheville. Both Jess and I will be there. We always have been offering an early bird discount, which is going to be this year, July 31st, with ad close being in September. And then we get into book makeup is around October. So you got a little window there to get your materials in. And then we ship it off December 11th. And then deliveries are completed December 18th for the annual guide. One of the things that we wanted to highlight for everyone on this call and for the Visit North Carolina partners, in addition to the guide itself, we also offer Visit North Carolina and promotion of the guide and promotional listings across the Dotdash Meredith brands, which include Real Simple, All Recipes, Midwest Living, Southern Living. So you get a lot of coverage across our brands, encouraging people to, learn more about Visit North Carolina and order the guide. We also polybag 60,000 of the travel guide issues in select of our brands. We work with Visit North Carolina, which is something, again, that is a great way to get the guide out to consumers. And then we offer Visit North Carolina bonus ads in our brands, like All Recipes and Real Simple. And again, promoting Visit North Carolina. And lastly, we have reader service that is in applicable brands. But it essentially, in addition to the guide, we are putting out the message about Visit North Carolina all year round throughout our extensive brands that Dotdash Meredith has.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kylie Krismanek, and I am the editorial content director for Meredith Travel Marketing, or Dotdash Meredith Travel Marketing here. So I get the wonderful privilege of overseeing the production and creation of the Visit North Carolina Travel Guide each year. So as Katie said, I think it's the 8th year. I think we're starting the 8th year. I think that's right. So yes, each year it is better and better. And when we receive the first off copies, we are always running around the office, very excited about cracking it open and taking a look, and everyone shares in that excitement. So thank you for this opportunity. Today, I am going to talk to you a little bit about travel trends. Obviously, these are dated 2022. This is our research, specifically aligned with more of our luxury and travel and leisure audience. And the reason we're bringing this to you is that it is our most recent completed study. We are working right now on all of our 2023 stuff that will then be released throughout 2023. But certainly these travel trends are applicable now and for the foreseeable future. So with that, I'll get started here. Next slide, Dana. Thank you. All right, so travel in a post-COVID world. If we can call this post-COVID, which I think we've all come around to that kind of place at this point, we're really excited because travel sales in 2023 are pacing 47% higher than 2019. We look at 2019 kind of as our benchmark before all of this change took place, and certainly over the last 18 months, we've seen some increases. We've seen the desire to visit small towns. We've seen the itch to make sure that we're utilizing all of our vacation time and all of those types of things. But it's really nice to see that 2023 is pacing not at 2019 sales, but 47% higher. That's incredible. I think that really is stemming from the fact that people are sort of thinking, if not now, when, right? Everybody wants to get out and experience those trips that they maybe had on their list as we went into COVID. They're looking to definitely explore new places. They want new experiences and they're willing to invest in those. So one of the things that we're seeing from the Gen X kind of group of people is that Gen X with the boomers are looking at trips and tourism and new experiences and those opportunities to bring their families together as kind of a place of inheritance and generational, like passing down of generational wealth. Like they're less worried about receiving money in inheritance, and they want to have those experiences along the way with their families, and that is really fulfilling, I think, as we look at the work that we get to do in the travel space, promoting these amazing trips that really are contributing to lifetime memories. Next slide. If you open, it will come. Right. We have definitely seen, like I said, the uptick in the small town travel, in the domestic travel. This one definitely leans in a little bit more into what those European and international trips look like. People are very interested in returning to Asia this year. Some of those high-end, like really long haul trips to Australia and New Zealand, African safaris, those things are on people's list, but that doesn't necessarily translate to less interest in domestic cities either, because what we are seeing is that people are planning their vacations start to finish for the year, right? So they're maybe targeting specific weekends, specific weeks, short weeks, maybe throughout the year, that they're allocating a lot of their domestic travel to. They may not book that trip today for something that's maybe going to happen in July or September or even May. They may be waiting a little closer to that time period to book the airlines if that's required, or to select their final overnight stay. But they've earmarked their destination, and they're really pacing their calendars to adhere to that. And what I think is awesome about that is that, as we all sort of adjusted to working from home and different expectations from employers, we're really seeing the consumer finally catch up with that, right? They had the itch to get out of the house and do those long weekends and to do those types of things before, but now employers are introducing things like unlimited vacation or work from anywhere or flexible in-office days versus, again, the work from anywhere. So it does allow travelers to take advantage of those things. And I think, for the first 6 to 12 months that something like that is introduced, I think people are a little bit like, oh, what does that actually mean, right? But now, since many of those policies have been in place for quite some time, people have adjusted their lifestyles to accommodate more exploration and new experiences. We can go to the next one. So number 3, we kind of alluded to this a little bit, but value is definitely in the eye of the beholder, right? Luxury travelers and frankly, even average travelers and average consumers are willing to spend more money to have a more meaningful experience. So that might mean traveling across the country to North Carolina. That might mean extending a stay that maybe would have been a long weekend, but now they're going to, you know, they want to stay for 7 days. They want to really invest and explore a specific destination. And I feel like, yes, you know, some of this research supports the international travel again, but, you know, it's that extension and even some of those last minute trips that at one point would have been a long weekend can now be a much longer time in market or in a specific destination. One thing that we do want to note is that service challenges at hotels and airlines and other destination kind of properties, tourism properties, still in some ways continue to have challenges, right? And so people are becoming less and less maybe patient with that, and customers are starting to expect you know, they're expect these places to adhere to their previous sort of cachet, and like, you know, any of the experiences that they were having prior to COVID, they're expecting that to happen now. And I think that can be really difficult for some of these hotels and hoteliers and these individual destinations that provide attraction services and things, because it is still hard to find great help and all the rest of it. And so they're working really, really hard to bring back those destinations to pre-COVID standards. And I think we'll start to see that return this year. I guess I'm not the one that can click the thing, huh? So our fourth travel trend is that groups are back, and in a big way. You know, one of the things that I alluded to earlier is the generational wealth travel. But the multi-gen travel does continue to grow. You know, I think many people, if they weren't already traveling in that way pre-COVID, during COVID, they created their friend pods and their friend bubbles, and many of those included, you know, parents and grandparents and even great grandparents. And so I think that has become sort of a standard and a little bit of a trend. Many people are having those trips at least once a year, if not with every vacation, they're taking, you know, grandparents and parents along. So I think, you know, that's definitely in the destination wedding space and honeymoon space, but it's also just in the immediate family or one layer of extended family. I know in my family, that's our standard mode of travel now. My parents pretty much accompany my family of 4 on nearly every trip we take. It's amazing. They are able to experience the magic of travel alongside their grandchildren. And we all can experience new places together. So another thing that's impacted on that slide, which I should just note real quick, is that, you know, certainly the cruise travel is becoming more and more popular again. But I think that just really feeds into the strong desire for unique experiences and being able to see new places and new destinations. Okay, now I'm ready, Dana. Thank you. All right, and I think this is our last trend. This is trend number 5. We've talked about sustainability and travel for a really long time, and we love this topic because we most certainly are invested in protecting the places that we're sending our readers to, but it's also become more and more top of mind for people to make sure that the places they're investing their money in are environmentally friendly. So they want to know about, you know, the practices of the overnight stays, the destinations, you know, what kind of environmentally friendly activities do they have available? What kind of preservation do they have set as expectations within their communities? What are the entrepreneurs doing in the small businesses and the artisans and all of those people to help support their place that they love and operate business in? And many people are willing to pay more for that. So it's interesting to me to see that 56%, in fact, of Gen Z and then 46% of millennials are responding so favorably that they're willing to pay more for those eco-friendly, you know, practices. And one of the things that we are looking at with that is, like, you know, maybe in the past it was oh, that's awesome. Like, I really love that. I'm going to file that away because, I appreciate those practices and I want to support that destination. But now it is very much if one city is more environmentally friendly than another, that's like a tipping point. They're most definitely going to go to a local community that supports more sustainability and really protects our environment instead of damaging it. So all of those things I think apply in some way or another to North Carolina. But those are our sort of top 5 as we look at the end of 2022 and into 2023.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing that this morning and talking about all things travel guide. I'd like to answer a couple of questions that have come across in the chat. I know that Stacy already answered one of these, but also just wanted to ask it here and have Stacy re-answer it on camera so that everyone could hear the answer. Are there package deals available for purchasing ads in the travel guide as well as other Dotdash Meredith brands?
And obviously the answer is yes, we can make that happen. We don't have them set and established right now. So I'm happy to put in my chat my email so you can reach out to me and we can get in the call and see what you're looking to do. But absolutely, happy to discuss that opportunity. So right now there aren't packages, but obviously we could develop those. And it could be in a case-by-case basis.
Awesome, great. And as Stacy mentioned, she will be at the conference in March. So that's a great time to learn more about the advertising sales and any of that if you have any more questions there. Another question that came across is about the roadshow. We are still, I can answer this one and anyone can jump in if you'd like as well, but we are working on planning the 2023 roadshow. We do it every February before the conference. We are still working on those dates and I hope to have an email out to everyone, all of our partners across the state, anyone who's attended in the past, and then also anyone here on this webinar with those dates in the next week for you. The format will still be the same with the short presentations where you get to highlight your destination and then we will ask questions kind of directly after your presentation. We have found that that's a really good way to deliver a lot of impactful information in a very quick amount of time. So excited about that, and please look for an email from me about that in the next week. Couple of other questions that have come across in the chat. Will the trends be mentioned in the presentation, which were for the 2023, be used for creating some of the content for the 24 guide? Yes, we always look at the trends, both the trends that the Meredith Dotdash team sees from their perspective, but any other research that we have on the Visit and See side. I know you've heard us say this a million times, but we are a research-based organization. So we always look towards trends as we plan any of our content, the travel guide, but also any of our content that we do on the brand side as well. You guys are muted.
One additional thing, we do a reader study for the travel guide as well, and we usually do that every few years because we want to make sure that we have direct feedback from the travelers that are engaging with the product, so or the guide, the magazine. We always we take that feedback as well, and then we apply it to the subsequent year's planning. So, and as we have research that's released, we're certainly applying it. That's the awesome part about, I think, this partnership is that, as Dana mentioned, there's a lot of Visit and See research as well, but all of our owned and operated brands are lifestyle, like household names, right? So we have Travel and Leisure and Food and Wine and Southern Living and Midwest Living and Better Homes and Gardens, Real Simple, and a slew of digital properties as well. So, you know, Trip Savvy and many others, where we are constantly surveying not only our readership, but also experts in the industry. So we end up with a lot of information that we're able to cull and make sure that we're putting out the very best product that will appeal to the traveler in the strongest way. So.
Yeah, there's a couple of other questions related to the topics for the roadshow. And I think that relates to the trends that we just talked about and using that for the 2024 guide. Last year, we did share a list of topics for the 23 guide, which I think was really helpful for partners as they developed their roadshow presentations. We will do that again. We're still kind of collecting those. As we said, they'll be based off of the trends that we're seeing, the research we're seeing, and then also what we are seeing kind of internally. We get with our PR team and we make sure that we align with what they might be pitching for the 2024 year. And then also what we see with our brand and what we're kind of working on there. So we'll make sure to include that in the email in the next week. So I don't have any specific highlights for you to share today, but I do know that we will continue with sustainability and outdoor and sea. That is something that has been folded underneath of our brand and is really important to North Carolina. And all of the other efforts that we are doing, we will continue with as well. So
I have to jump in here also, because I think it's still important that for our partners to know, don't tell us what you think you want us to hear also. If you've got something that's really cool, really unique to your area, please put that in the presentation too, because quite often we're not going to know about it if you don't tell us about it. And more times than not, we've had a lot of input, a lot of inspiration for the travel guide from what came from this presentations without the topics being provided.
that's a great addition. Yeah. And it's hard because you're talking about the 2024 year. We just started 23 and we're already talking about what we're going to pitch in 24. But yeah, if you guys know of anything that's happening that year, like Kathy said, we do look to you guys for experts on the ground in your destinations for what's going on and what's new and what's exciting. Oh, this is a great question. How do I get the current state travel guide to display in my local visitor center? Well, you just have to contact us, either me or Kathy, and we can help you get it. We can send you however many boxes you need from our fulfillment center here. So yeah, just reach out to us. I think that is all for our questions this morning, unless there are any additional ones. Our next webinar is Thursday, February 9th at 10 a.m. It will be all about the tourism conference, which is in March 6th through 8th. What's new besides the name of the Visit and See Tourism Conference. So please join us for that. We look forward to talking about that, and we look forward to seeing you all at conference in March. And I have to mention this because we have changed the dates. We are now on Monday, or this year we're going to be Monday through Wednesday. And I wanted to just highlight that for everyone, because typically we're a Sunday through a Tuesday conference, but wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that we're kind of adjusting the dates a little bit. So the conference will be a Monday through a Wednesday this year, March 6th through 8th. Thank you all this morning for presenting about all things travel guide. I appreciate your time on this Thursday in early 2023, and for all the work you do on the travel guide.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.